Welcome to the Dan Sports Daily Fantasy, the 11th. I shall be taking a look at everything you need for your daily fantasy games on DraftKings. Stacks of the day, how we can construct a lineup to maximise our point scoring potential, foundation players who should be used to build upon as the foundation for a winning lineup, and a value player at each position. For anyone who hasn't had the opportunity to sign up and play daily fantasy sports with DraftKings yet, I will stick a link in the description for this video that will enable you to do that today. Looking at our starting pitchers today, Danny Duffy of the Kansas City Royals for $12,400 is the most expensive pitcher on the board, and he is a top play. The White Sox have had some issues with left-handed pitchers, which makes Duffy, as I say, the clear top play ahead of the somewhat scuffling Noah Syndergaard. Duffy is 8-1 this year with a 2.97 ERA. He's got 132 strikeouts in 115 1/3. He's gone 5-0 in his last 7 starts. Hasn't lost at home this season. He's allowed 5 runs across 3 starts against the White Sox. Those runs did come when he was still being stretched out after coming out of the bullpen and joining the rotation. His last outing against these White Sox was a 3 hits allowed in 6 innings performance with 10 strikeouts. A repeat of that today and we'll be very happy. Jameson Taillon of the Pittsburgh Pirates for $8,600. I think $8,600 is a fair price for him against the Padres, a unit that does rank 3rd in baseball for strikeouts. The yard is no drawback for him from a pitcher's perspective. Taillon doesn't walk a lot of batters. He has 43 strikeouts in 52 innings pitched. Seems almost certain to give us 6 solid innings today. He's got a 2.40 ERA over his last 5 starts, and at the price I think he gives you a degree of certainty for production that should give you a good starting point for your lineups today. And Jose Berrios of the Minnesota Twins for $6,300. I can make the case for Berrios today. He faces the strikeout-prone Astros, giving him upside. He has 29 strikeouts in 26 innings this year and does display filthy stuff on occasion with pitches there in his armoury that can get you strike 3. The issues with the player are obviously he's yet to work deep into a game this year, topping out at 6 innings pitched on the season for a game. He needs to stay away from the big inning as well. There is plenty of upside, though plenty of risk as well. His best performance probably, you could say, this year was his performance against the Houston Astros. It's a prototypical high ceiling, low floor play at a reasonable $6,300 price. For our stats of the day, if you look at the weather forecast, there are 2 locations today that we want to be stacking our hitters. For our stacks of the day today, if we take a look at the weather forecast, we want to be stacking hitters in 2 locations. Those locations are Fenway Park and Wrigley Field. There are decent winds forecast to be blowing out to dead centre in those ballparks, and decent temperatures forecast as well. We all know Michael Pineda's been about as inconsistent as it's possible to be this year. When he's off, he is way off. A lot of the Boston lineup is banged up, which does make projecting a little bit tough. I will have a go at a Boston stack, as I don't really have the grapefruits to stack the Yankees in this game, and Rodriguez has actually been pitching quite a bit better lately for the Red Sox. I'll take second baseman Dustin Pedroia for $3,800. He's hitting .298 with 12 home runs this year. Outfielder Jackie Bradley Jr. for $4,000. He's on the right side of the platoon, hitting .288 with 17 homers. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop for $3,800. He's got a home run off Pineda, hitting .315 with 14 bombs this year. And Travis Shaw, who qualifies at first and third, he's $3,800 today. He has a home run off Pineda as well. He's on the right side of the platoon. He's hitting .264 with 14 home runs, and he's hit the ball out of the park twice in the last 7 games. And at Wrigley, while Leicester is capable of having a clunker, I think I'll probably stack the Cubs against Carlos Martinez, who has struggled in recent starts. He's not pitching deep into games, and he allowed 6 earned runs in his last outing. I'll take first baseman Anthony Rizzo for $5,200. He's got 2 home runs off Martinez. On the right side of the platoon, hitting .288 with 24 homers. Dexter Fowler in the outfield for $4,800. The switch hitting leadoff man is hitting .288 with 9 homers and 8 steals. He's hitting .333 with a homer in his last 7 games. Shortstop Addison Russell for $3,300. He's hitting .243 with 13 homers this year. Javi Baez qualifies at second and third. He's hitting he's for $3,300 today, hitting .274 with 11 homers and 9 steals. And Chris Bryant, who qualifies in the third and in the outfield for $4,900. He's hitting .284 with 28 home runs, and he's gone deep twice in the last 3 games. For my I would stack Cleveland Indians as well today. There's reasonable winds and temperatures forecast in that game against the Los Angeles Angels, and obviously Jhoulys Chacín has not been proved to be a very good pitcher so far this year anyway. There is rain forecast in Cleveland today though, so I'm unsure if the game is going to go, so I've used those players in foundation and value plays instead rather than putting up a stack that might be completely dead. Foundation players today at first base, Joe Mauer of the Minnesota Twins for 5,100 is on the right side of the platoon. He's hitting 279, 9 home runs, and he's hitting 429 in his last 7 games, and he has got a home run off of Doug Fister. Second baseman Jose Altuve of the Houston Astros for 5,300. Obviously Berrios has had some issues, particularly early in games. Altuve hits at the top of the lineup. He's hitting 361, 19 homers and 26 steals on the year. At third, I'll take Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Indians, who also qualifies in the outfield, for 5,200. He's hitting 500 with a homer in his last 7 games. He also gets to face Yuli Jaquin. Shortstop Francisco Lindor of the Cleveland Indians for 4,900. The switch hit is hitting 305 with 14 homers and 14 steals, and he hit one out the yard yesterday in Washington, against Washington. Outfielder Ryan Braun of the Milwaukee Brewers for 5,500 is hitting 325 with 19 homers this year. The pitcher formerly known as Fausto Carmona, Roberto Hernandez or something these days, is not a good pitcher. Braun is hitting 385 with 4 homers in his last 7 games and is on an absolute tear. For my value play today, catcher Sandy Leone of the Boston Red Sox for 2,900 is on the right side of the platoon against Pineda, hitting 371 with 4 homers. My first baseman is Jose Abreu of the Chicago White Sox for $3,000. He's got a home run off of Danny Duffy. He's on the right side of the platoon, hitting 280 with 14 homers this year. His last 7 games, though, he's hitting 433 with 3 home runs. Second baseman Scooter Gennett of the Milwaukee Brewers for 3,800. He's on the right side of the platoon today. He's hitting 268 with 9 home runs and 8 stolen bases on the year. Second baseman, third baseman as well, Jorge Polanco of the Minnesota Twins for 3,300. The switch hit is hitting 352 with a homer in his last 15 games, which is pretty much a period of time since he's got regular playing time since they traded, it was Escobar, wasn't it? They traded to San Francisco. Shortstop Didi Gregorius of the New York Yankees for 3,200. He's on the right side of the platoon against Rodriguez. 286, 14 homers this year. He's hit 3 home runs in his last 7 games. And in the outfield, I'll take Stephen Piscotty of the St. Louis Cardinals for 3,800. He's got a home run off of John Lester, hitting 278 with 15 home runs, and he's on the right side of the platoon, and as we know, he does hit left-handed pitching very, very well. That is what I've got for you today. Best of luck with your lineups.